Here's another one. New OKC revelation spotlight FBI involvement in bombing. And this came out in the Salt Lake City Tribune. Southern Poverty Law Center involved with informants inside. That's why I'm their #1 target, because I expose them. Again, how did the British intelligence control India when there was one Brit in many areas for every 1,000 Indians? They would play tribal groups off against each other, religious groups off against each other. It's called the Great Game, or divide and conquer. And here's that actual Salt Lake City affidavit. McVeigh had high-level help working for Army intelligence. Again, Southern Poverty Law Center. Attorney, sealed documents indicate OKC inside bombing. FBI defense team files identify government informants directing McVeigh. Folks, I can go on for hours here. This is not a game or not a joke, and that's why I tell good old boys, a certain macho type that we've assessed who tend to have their father was in the military or their brother was, they weren't. They like Rambo movies. I've actually gone out several times just to assess these groups myself, and you'll see there'll be a Fed in the group of 10 guys. He's trying to get them to do violent stuff, and the other guys will be putting bandanas on and crawling around in the bushes, and they think everybody's out to get them, and they want to have some big battle with the government, and they're always being led by feds. This is the MO. I mean, take the Republic of Texas. Polls show over half of Texans want to secede from the Union, whether that's good or not. So they went out and found literally poor people living in trailers. They said, I am the president. And they would have a guy with a bass boat who would wear admiral outfits. I mean, you can't make this up. And then the cops went in there and just gunned them all down and said they were dangerous terrorists. And then they have other groups they hire to look like clowns to discredit any true secession movement down the road. It's very simple. So if you're going to be in a militia, realize it's constitutional, it's good, realize that you only act in defense of the Republic, and realize anybody that tells you got to be secretive, you got to hide in the bushes, oh, let's make pipe bombs, oh, let's make our guns go full auto. If you'll just follow that person home, their FBI, their defense intelligence, their Army Special Forces. I mean, one time I went and tried to cover Brooksville, Florida, and an Army takeover drill of the town. I get there, and locals are running around. When I get to Brooksville, I'm walking through the town. This is a big town. And people are coming out going, you're Alex Jones. The Army came to my door and said, don't talk to you. You're crazy. This was all a psyop, how to take over the town. And then all of a sudden, this guy I'd seen at Waco and other places, he was clearly, and I knew instantly, well, with special forces, totally, but serious. And he was always, and he's like, oh, let's set fires out while we're here in Brooksville. I'm like, I had to literally grab him and throw him down on the ground and go, look, I know you're Fed. I'm about to kick your ass. I don't care how tough you think you are. Quit following us around. We're just trying to videotape them setting up checkpoints in the town. And I had to literally grab this guy and just go, listen, because once he started trying to light stuff on fire, and I grabbed him and I had to shove him down and said, I know you think you're tough. I'm about to kick the living hell out of you. You understand me, you federal piece of crap? I said a lot more than that. And I said, I'm going to stomp your guts out. Now, that's the type of crap that I deal with these criminals. And I am sick of it. And I declare war on your criminal activity. Period. So I'm going to tell people who are involved in this militia stuff, you better keep your nose clean because the feds want to set you up. Let's go to Charles in Rhode Island. Charles, are you in a militia?
Yes, I am. Greetings and salutations, freedom fighter extraordinaire.
What's on your mind?
Well, basically, Rhode Island is a very small state. It's a 2x4 of a state, so it would be extremely hard to be infiltrated in the militia because of the fact that we would know you 12 ways by 12 ways very easily. The contacts here are easy to assemble. So basically, I've been the representative of the militia down at the State House for the past 25 years here in the state of Rhode Island.
Well, God bless you. You're in the great tradition of General Greene from Rhode Island.
Exactly. And we're here to help the true people who own the government, not the people in government or who collect a check from government to make it work, okay, to prosperity after the government collapses. We're trying to maintain the sanity that the government is taking away from us by the second. Through the laws and all the crazy laws that we're getting inoculated with.
Well, for people that I mean, give us your view. I mean, do you agree with my statement that people see a massive tyranny building up, just like people internally tried to fight back against Hitler and were called traitors? I mean, you see a huge tyranny being constructed that people go, well, we better revive the militia. I mean, it's federal law that we all be part of it 18 to 44 anyways.
Well, absolutely, I agree with you. And this is the part is I was overeducated. I understand exactly what happened in Nazi Germany after the Reichstag fire, 1933 and 1934. And the laws are all being repeated right here in America, right at this moment. And my grandfather told me in 1966, he said, by the time I got to be his age, not to get the Social Security number, because by the time I got to be his age, there would be no money for me to collect because the government will have successfully stolen every penny. Well, he had no idea the fiat credit money system that was going to unfold, but because of what he told me, and I followed his directions, I have no Social Security, I've never paid any income tax, the state or federal, and I don't believe in any of that. I don't understand why we're doing those things at all, to keep propping up the government, to make ourselves slaves. It doesn't make any sense to me.
God bless you, sir. Good to hear from you. Long live the Republic. Mike in South Carolina. You're on the air. Go ahead, Mike.
Hello, Alex. Thank you for your show.
Thank you. Okay, you've got the international media here. Tell them why you're in the militia.
Well, because it's not an option. By definition, every able-bodied male is the militia to be ever ready to be the number one primary deterrent against tyranny. And having said that, many are ignorant and many are AWOL. But nevertheless, they are the militia. And remember what our founders said. When the government fears the people, you have freedom. When the people fear the government, you have tyranny. So it's up to each and every individual to judge where we are in that continuum and to be ready for action when we get to that point.
Well, sir, I agree with you. You've got the floor. Continue with any other points you'd like to make.
Well, just like to remind everybody, like you said, agree with you 100%. Anything more than probably 2, maybe 3, organized is going to be infiltrated eventually. So, the bottom line is the militia is like the biblical militia, God's army. They go about their everyday business, but they're ever ready. Each individual is responsible to have a quality rifle, ample supply of ammunition, be proficient in its use.
Exactly. That's the model, is that I see these militia guys that are federally handled in the camo, running around bragging with their chest stuck out. Real militias in a suit and tie at city council, and then they're in their backyard wearing a T-shirt doing gardening, and they're lovingly rocking their baby at night, but they're also going to the shooting range, getting ready, committing to how they're going to defend the Republic against this globalist takeover if they start trying to put us in FEMA camps. I mean, it's that simple. And that's the real army, and the system knows that. That's why they staged the attacks in the 90s to demonize the militia, so the real men who saw the threat to the country would be scared away from it. It hasn't worked. The feds doing that in the mid-90s only made the real militia go underground, and it's just this giant army that is just, to use the Frank Herbert analogy of like the Fremen, it's just gigantic.
Absolutely correct, and that's the ones they're afraid of, and I'm here to tell you that I'm convinced, God willing, we will be the majority when we're called up by the Holy Spirit. They call us lone wolves because we're not out there playing G.I. Joe. We are out there working, earning a living, taking care of our families, voting. We're going to town hall meetings. We're screaming to the top of our lungs at these boneheads in Washington, at these town hall meetings. But the bottom line is we practice on our own. We train. We're very, very proficient. We don't get together and braggadocious and have some kind of party and club and talk about how wonderful we are. We understand the position that's God-given and enumerated by our founders, and we're prepared for the day when it happens. And remember, there's over 100 million gun owners in this country, over 300 million firearms. And remember, throughout all of history, freedom's been born on the shoulder of about 10%. The other 90% were evenly split, 45% pro-king, 45% didn't care. So 10% of 100 million gun owners, 10 million, there's no army in the world can stand up to that. And that's the reason the Japanese didn't invade us, because they know virtually all Americans are not only armed, but well-armed and willing to do do what they have to do to defend
That's right. That's right. Admiral Yamamoto didn't just say, I fear we have woken a sleeping giant. He also said we can't invade the mainland because there'd be a rifle barrel behind every blade of grass. And that's what the foreign bankers need to know. We've identified the Federal Reserve as the outside enemy engaging in the criminal activity, the implosion of the economy by design. We are peacefully saying, stop raping us, stop abusing us, don't tread on us. We're trying everything peaceable we can. The enemy is arrogant. They're going to strike against us. And then everybody knows who the enemy is. They have a question here for you from the TV network. Go ahead.
Hey, Mike, do you train publicly, or have you gone underground?